Hey there, it's CJ Willie, and I'm back with episode number 12, and let's talk about 1984 Donruss. If you haven't watched episodes 1 through 11, you can check them out by clicking on the links in the description below. You can also find them on my channel under the playlist Let's Talk About Baseball. In today's episode, I pick up from where I left off in episode number 11 by covering the next 50 cards in the set numbered 511 to 560. Included in today's spotlight are one Hall of Famer and one player who deserves a second look by the Veterans Committee for Hall of Fame consideration. Starting off with number 511 Al Cowens, AC finished second in the MVP award voting and won a Gold Glove in 1977 as a member of the Kansas City Royals. Cliff Johnson, nicknamed Heathcliff by his teammates, Johnson's brother-in-law Mike Easler was an outfielder with 6 different teams during the 1970s and 1980s. Randy Bush, as a part-time platoon outfielder, Bush was a member of the 1987 and 1991 world champion Minnesota Twins. Sammy Stewart, the throwing swan unknown, led the American League with 2.32 ERA in 1981. Bill Schroeder, Aurelio Lopez, Senior Smoke was named to the 1983 American League All-Star team as a reliever. Mike Brown, Craig Nettles, nicknamed Puff by his teammates, Nettles was named to 6 All-Star teams and won 2 Gold Gloves. He won 2 World Series rings with the New York Yankees in 1977 and 1978. His brother Jim was a Major League outfielder during the 1970s. Dave Sachs, he only played in 37 games over 5 years in the Major Leagues. He was definitely overshadowed by his younger brother Steve, who played second base for the Dodgers, Yankees, White Sox, and A's during a 14-year career. Jerry Willard, this is an uncorrected error as Willard spelled his first name with a J and not a G. Through a freak accident which caused the end of his playing career, a piece of catching equipment is named after him. During a game against the Chicago White Sox on May 10, 1994, Julio Franco fouled a ball off Willard's right shoulder, causing a fracture and damaged cartilage. This resulted in Willard being unable to throw and led to his retirement. Because of the accident, the extra padded attachment to a catcher's chest protector, or a Willard, was developed. Paul Splittorff, as the staff ace for the Royals during the 1970s, Splittorff won 166 games with a 3.81 career ERA over 15 seasons. Tom Bergmeyer, experiencing a career year with the Red Sox in 1980, Bergmeyer was selected to his only All-Star team. He finished with a career high in saves with 24. Chris Spire. Spy was named to 3 consecutive National League All-Star squads to begin his career in 1972 through 1974. His son Justin was a relief pitcher with 7 teams over 12 seasons. His nephew Gabe is currently a pitcher for the Seattle Mariners. Bobby Clark, George Wright, Dennis Lamp. I Love Lamp went 11-0 as a middle innings reliever, helping the Blue Jays win the American League East Division title in 1985. Tony Scott, Ed Whitson. Even though he finished the season with a losing record, Whitson was named to his lone All-Star squad in 1980 as a member of the San Francisco Giants. Ron Reed, as a rookie with the Atlanta Braves in 1968, Reed was named to his only All-Star team. He was part of the 1980s Philadelphia Phillies team that beat the Kansas City Royals for the World Series crown. Charlie Puleo, Jerry Royster. After his 16-year playing career was over, Royster spent a few years as a coach, including a stint as the Milwaukee Brewers manager during 2002. His cousin Greg Vaughn was an all-star outfielder for 5 different teams during the 1990s and early 2000s. Don Robinson. Caveman finished 3rd in the National League Rookie of the Year voting in 1978 behind Bob Horner and Ozzie Smith. Although he won over 100 games in his 15-year career, Robinson was known as a good-hitting pitcher, winning 3 Silver Slugger awards while hitting .231 for his career with 13 home runs and 69 RBI. Steve Trout, Rainbow's father, Dizzy Trout, was an all-star pitcher for the Detroit Tigers during the 1940s. Bruce Sutter, the early pioneer of the split-finger fastball, Sutter was elected to the Hall of Fame in 2006. As a closer for the Cubs, Cardinals, and Braves, Sutter finished his career with exactly 300 saves. He won the 1979 Cy Young Award as a member of the Cubs and finished in the top 5 in Cy Young Award voting 4 times, as well as garnering 6 All-Star squad selections. The evolution of the modern closer can be tied to Sutter's pivotal role defined during his time with my St. Louis Cardinals, culminating with their 1982 World Series title. Bob Horner, going straight from Arizona State University and the number 1 overall draft pick in 1978 to the major leagues, Horner was named Rookie of the Year in 1978. He was named to his lone All-Star squad with the Braves in 1982. The baseball owner's collusion in the winter of 1986 led Horner to sign a contract overseas in Japan at the prime of his career. Upon returning to the States in 1988 with the Cardinals, Horner spent most of the season injured and retired the following season. Pat Tabler, Mr. Clutch, was named to the 1987 American League All-Star team as a member of the Cleveland Indians. He was part of the 1992 Toronto Blue Jays World Series championship team. Chris Chambliss. In 1971, Chambliss won the American League Rookie of the Year as a member of the Cleveland Indians. He was named to the American League All-Star team as a Yankee in 1976. He won a pair of World Series rings with the Yankees in 1977 and 1978. Bob Ojeda. In 1981, Ojeda finished third in the American League Rookie of the Year voting behind Dave Righetti and his Battery teammate Rich Gedman. Alan Ashby. Jay Johnstone. Better known for his off-field antics, Johnstone is one of my favorite authors. He wrote 3 baseball books, Temporary Insanity, Over the Edge, and Some of My Best Friends Are Crazy. I've read the books numerous times and I highly recommend them. Bob Dunier. Brooke Jacoby. Jake was named to 2 American League All-Star teams in 1986 and 1990 as a member of the Cleveland Indians. U.L. Washington. Danny Darwin. Having one of the more dire nicknames in baseball, Dr. Death pitched until he was 42 years old. He led the National League with a 2.21 ERA in 1990 as a member of the Houston Astros. Kiko Garcia. Vance Law. Nicknamed the Long Arm of the Law, he was named to the National League All-Star team in 1988 as a member of the Chicago Cubs. Law's father, Vern Law, was an All-Star pitcher with the Pittsburgh Pirates during the 1950s and 1960s. Law's card is an uncorrected error as it lists him as a pitcher rather than an infielder. Tug McGraw. Frank Edwin McGraw Jr. won 2 World Series rings, first with the Mets in 1969, then with the Phillies in 1980. The Barber was named to 2 National League All-Star teams in 1972 with the Mets and 1975 with the Phillies. Dave Smith. He was named to 2 National League All-Star squads as the closer for the Houston Astros in 1986 and 1990. Len Matusik. Tom Hume. Even though Hume had a losing record and only 22 strikeouts to 21 walks, he was named to the 1982 National League All-Star team while playing for the Reds. Dave Jervecki. In only his second year in the big leagues, Jervecki represented the Padres in the 1983 All-Star Game. Rick Rhoden. Another example of a good hitting pitcher, Rhoden won 3 Silver Slugger awards during his 16-year career. He had a career batting average of .238 with 9 home runs and 75 RBI, including 3 seasons in which he hit over 300. He was no slouch as a pitcher as well. He was named to 2 National League All-Star teams in 1976 with the Dodgers and 1986 with the Pirates. He finished his career with 151 wins and a 3.59 ERA. Dwayne Kuiper, currently the play-by-play announcer for the San Francisco Giants. His cousin, Dick Bozeman, pitched in the big leagues during the 1960s and 1970s. Rusty Staub. Le Grand Oran was a popular player over his 23-year career. He was named to 5 of his 6 All-Star squads in consecutive years starting in 1967. In the 1973 World Series, he batted .423 with 2 doubles, a home run, and 6 RBI for the New York Mets. Staub finished his career with a .279 batting average, 292 home runs, 1,466 RBI, and had almost 400 more career walks than strikeouts. He definitely deserves consideration from the Veterans Committee for inclusion into the Hall of Fame. Bill Campbell, Soup, was named to the American League All-Star team while playing for the Boston Red Sox and leading the league in saves in 1977. He was named the top American League closer in back-to-back seasons in 1976 and 1977. Mike Torres, he won a World Series ring in his only year pitching for the New York Yankees in 1977. Dave Henderson. Hendu was named to his only All-Star team in 1991 as a member of the Oakland A's. He also won a World Series ring in 1989 when the A's beat their crosstown rival, the San Francisco Giants. Len Whitehouse. Barry Bonnell. Ending with Rick Lysander, who is sporting a nifty mustache. The overall count of big leaguers sporting a T-strainer reached 24 in this episode. Okay, that does it for this episode. Tune in next time for episode number 13 when I'll talk about one more Hall of Famer plus another of my favorite players from the St. Louis Cardinals teams of the 1980s. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, please click on that thumbs up button and share this episode with your friends. Make sure to subscribe and update the notification icon to catch episode number 13 of Let's Talk About 1984 Donruss.